Welcome to Vision Profiles, the podcast for dedicated Apple Vision Pro users. We explore the hardware, software, apps, and the latest news from the world of spatial computing. I am so proud and honored, I should say, the people I get to work with on this show, Eric and David, and just reflecting on it today, and Daniel, who joins us every other week. You each bring like remarkable talents and remarkable insights to the show. All I do is like put the menu together for the evening and contribute some comments as I feel about it. But you guys really know your stuff. And I appreciate that so much. And just, I'll say this up front on the show so people catch it. Coming up this Friday, which is what is this Friday? August 7th, I guess? Yeah, it's August 7th. macOS Ken just did a 20-minute with me for his show because he's not doing news for a couple of days as he's going to be on the road. And instead, we've got 20 minutes of Vision Profiles where I got to talk a little bit about myths with Apple Vision Pro and also really got to speak appreciatively of the team that we put together here. So that's on my mind, not just the fact that I'll be on macOS Ken, but that that whole experience brought the appreciation that I have for you guys doing this. We're on our 114th episode. So just briefly, I'm Marty Gensius, a professor at Kent State University, podcaster, and Apple enthusiast.
I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my passion is finding creative ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, panoramic sequences, whatever else manages to catch my eye as I drive by.
And I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the InTouch/iOS podcast, IT professional, and I'm continually discovering new ways Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
Thanks, guys. Daniel's not with us tonight. He's traveling somewhere in North Carolina and out, I think, visiting friends because it is that vacation time where people get out. Eric's on the road. It's not his usual background, but it's not a fake AI-generated hotel room background. It is a real hotel room background. So we appreciate him connecting with us for the show tonight. Just a reminder, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@Vision Profiles. Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch the video later that night or on YouTube or the audio on any podcast service. And I don't know if you guys have any news with Vision Pro or anything that you ran across while you were addressing or dealing with it this week. I think we've all been fairly busy with projects. We have a lot of apps to talk about tonight. As I put together the show, I went to some sources where people were advertising their new apps or advertising the upgrade of their particular apps. And I just kind of grabbed those, searched for them, and put together some really cool apps for tonight. There's one that I hope Eric got a chance to look at. If he doesn't, this one is all Eric. It's nature, it's stories, it's 180 spatial video. It's all Eric, but we'll get to that when we get to the app section of this. Top story is, and this is kind of new, it is Adobe Premiere now edits spatial video on Apple Vision Pro. And this came out July 24th, but I wanted to emphasize this as important story. And it goes through and it talks about it has a native visionOS app. The first time a major professional video editing brand has arrived and on the headset. This is a mobile editor. It's not the full desktop Premiere Pro, but it does include spatial-specific features like floating panels, spatial video clip support, and depth control for overlays. It's free to download. A subscription is required to export without a watermark. So you might, Eric or Dave, you might try it out with a watermark to see what it's like, just to play around if you're not familiar with the with the Adobe Premiere interface just to play around with it and see what it's like. There are other, of course, Final Cut works on the Vision Pro. There's also DaVinci that works on the Vision Pro, but this is going to the dark side by bringing Adobe on the Vision Pro, and I edit in Adobe Premiere. So the video version of this show is edited in Vision Pro or it is edited in Adobe Premiere. So I don't think I'll ever do it on a Vision Pro, but it's kind of fun to see this happen. Any comments from you guys on this?
It's interesting to see how video editing would really work on a Vision Pro. I mean, I'm going like this, and I don't want to get my camera going and move my move me back and forth here. But you're moving your fingers around. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. I use Final Cut Pro, and I'm still not well versed in it. Still learning that. I know you're very well versed in Premiere, so this I don't know if you had a chance to try it yet, but
yeah,
you have to be comfortable with the product, and that's probably going to be the biggest thing. But is it going to be something in the future? I don't know. I mean, this great pencil I still haven't used yet. That probably would come in handy. That
isn't that a user error? It's not a hardware error. It's a user error.
This is a user error. This is a user error. I don't know why the hell I haven't started using this thing yet, but I got to poke my eye out to get it to do here. But yeah, so being able to do those things and that's you're showing the video there. That's pretty cool that you can go through the timeline and scroll. I'll play around with it, see what, especially if they have they can let you demo it, and I don't care about the watermarks because I'm not going to use it as production. So
yeah.
But I haven't used Premiere in quite a while, so yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve, of course.
Yeah, what prompted this, Dave, was when you said, "I don't know how people would do that, moving with their pinching and fingers." And I remember seeing this video at one point, and it happens to be at the bottom of the article that I have as part of the link in this. So yeah, you can see the editing and the outcome of the editing with the spatial piece. So Eric, any comments?
Yeah, it's good to see an editor come out. I kind of am curious to see if they'll expand it, because if you're going to work with spatial video editing, you need to be able to see what it looks like in a viewer, and the Vision Pro is pretty much the perfect spot to be looking at it. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they allow editing in other locations and mirroring it, or letting this app then pull that in and get playback in the Vision Pro to make it sort of a faster iteration. Filming it, getting some spatial content, seeing the results, and there's some other apps that are out there specifically designed to allow that viewing. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, I remember when they first started talking about Vision Pro as a productivity tool, I was surprised that there were posts from people saying, "Oh, this is great. When I'm on an airplane, I can edit video." And I thought, really? But apparently it's a thing, It is it is a thing that is something people want to do. And then when I think it was DaVinci that came out first, followed by Final Cut, and now we have Adobe Premiere, at least a Adobe Premiere version of Adobe Premiere that you can do simple editing with. That's all pretty cool. Yep. Not a lot of news articles this time, so we'll move through those pretty quickly. This happened on July 27th last week, and Apple released visionOS 26.6, the sixth update for visionOS operating systems for folks. For the 5 folks that are not running the developer beta. And Eric, are you running developer or no?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I put it on my production phone now, on my iPad.
Holy cow!
Pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's unusual, but I can't not have it.
Yeah.
And while I'm
No.
using it, I can't recommend other people do that.
Oh,
Except
yeah.
on a
Let's
Vision Pro, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's sort of, like the old drug commercials where the dad catches the kid smoking pot, and he goes, "You shouldn't
That's
do
right.
this. You shouldn't do this." And the kid he goes, "Where did you get this? Where did you learn this?" And the kid looks up and says, "I learned it from you, Dad." So betas
Oh,
are
yes.
just like that. You shouldn't do them. You shouldn't do them, but your parents are
But
doing
if you
them and
do,
not telling you
well,
about it.
yeah.
So yeah, Mac rumors. I guess, the fact, how can you publish it under Mac rumors if it's not a rumor and it actually did occur? They did release 26.6. So yeah. And then again, under Mac rumors, Apple seeds the fourth visionOS 27 beta to developers. That's been
Mhm.
out a couple of weeks. I'm hoping that I will get another release of this tomorrow, because it always seems to happen on a Tuesday after we do a show. And I'm sure Dave will pick up some of this. If it does happen, he'll pick up some of this with In Touch with iOS. But, I would like to get this issue with my hand control, fixed, which we have a story on that too. So, and I hope that will
I'll
fix
make
that. We get another beta. Yeah, Dave?
No, I'll make a comment on visionOS 27. It seems pretty solid. I've been running the beta since I basically got the Vision Pro. I've always been on beta.
Yeah.
This was a device I don't follow my normal rules. Don't use it on your production device. But I know Eric, you are much heavier user of the Vision Pro than I am, and I need to use it more. But I feel comfortable having it beta on because I want to play, and that's what we want to do. I know sometimes, Eric, you're doing a lot of more heavier duty things. You don't want to be in the beta sometimes because it's like more of a production thing for you than it is.
Yeah.
Than it is a play
A
device.
test device.
Well, a test device. Well, until your daughter gets it.
Yeah.
And your daughter changes all the functions.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I'm going to move on to some of the things. This is something that was posted a couple of days ago, and I haven't really kind of looked at this, but just noticed that Apple Maps have a depth in Street View. So it will be interesting if they use the current depth information to simulate stereoscopic effect on the Vision Pro. I wonder if Apple is working on bringing a native version of Apple Maps to the Vision Pro. And yeah, so an interesting comment on this. I haven't looked at Street View in Apple Maps, to see if it does have if this is confirmable, but it was an interesting article on the possibilities of it. So if folks want to go in and try Apple Maps and see if it has a Street View depth, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's well worth viewing it. I still don't know how to tell where an area has it and doesn't have it, but it's cool when you get a spot that has it,
That has Street View.
that has
Yeah.
the extra depth.
Yeah. So you could be on a Street View, but it still doesn't have the extra depth, just because the way they gathered the data or the information or shot the video in terms of it.
Yeah, so if you're going to test it, pick an area that is like a bigger city or a more well-known place and try it there first.
Yeah.
It does seem to be very nicely responsive, though.
Yeah.
You click on a spot and it zips right along. So that's been very nice.
Here is another thing that I found searching around: liquid glass on visionOS update. And this was someone who commented, this was on X, that the magnifier blew me away on Apple's WWDC 25 reveal, and seeing it spatially is something special. Dark mode is in too, and everything feels bouncier and even more delightful now. So they have some video here of a person running this in visionOS and looking at the magnifier in particular. That I'm sharing some of the video directly for folks who are watching the live stream. Craig Allenbach, has joined us in the live stream. Craig, thanks for joining us and correcting Eric's lighting and the plant and the bookshelf is all he needs in that. So thanks for joining us, Craig, and joining us live. And you can join us live too at youtube.com/@vision profiles Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And a new world is happening. Have you all tried Cinedepth 2D to 3D video player? It's phenomenal environments and almost no video artifacts, supports SharePlay. We are going to talk about 2D to 3D conversion app that just came out. I don't think it's that one though. Coming up as an app, but that's a good recommendation. All right. Let's go on and see what else we have in terms of information. Here's my issue. And palm gesture stopped working. I had my Vision Pro for about a week now, and it's been working great, just blurry. My prescription lenses just arrived, and it looks fantastic now. The issue is that the look at your palm, bring up a little circle gesture stopped working completely. I've redone hand and eye setup a bunch of times. Hand tracking seemed to work elsewhere, but gesture just isn't working at all. Has anyone had this happen? I've tried disconnecting the battery to restart the device. They're on beta 4. So they're on the same beta that we all are on. And one of the comments was, did you report the issue? Yes, no issue waiting for a patch. No issue waiting for a patch. Just wasn't sure if it was a beta bug or something else is all. I've been on beta 4 this whole time and it was working as expected until now. I've had that problem arise when I usually simplify my watching by just keeping my contacts in, and then Vision Pro works fine with my mid to distant contact view. And so I don't have to put in lenses. I do have lenses for when I don't have contacts. Well, I had it booted up, and then I was like, oh, I don't have my contacts in. I don't want to put another set of dailies in just to look at this. I'll throw my lenses in. I threw my lenses in. It tried to do some readjustment, and eventually it got back to the point where I had to reset the eye vision stuff. And that's when I noticed the hand gesture coordination stop. So what this person's talking about in the post is similar to the problems that I'm having. And that's why I'm hoping we get a new beta that corrects this issue. And for me, reading this was like, oh, cool. It's not just me, which is what I think the person did to post that. So remembering that it's a beta and everything else works and I can get around without having to open the control center. I can do that by going through systems and managing it that way until this thing gets corrected. So just sort of a warning for listeners who love to be on betas. Of course, you shouldn't do that. You should never do betas, but we all do it anyways. This I didn't check out in terms of a link, but it looks very cool. Updated my free stereographic viewer. It grew from 1,500 cards to 44,000 from 12 of the world's greatest museums. And apparently this is a Stereopticon is the app, and it's a free app for viewing.
Really, really well.
It works
It's
really
an awesome app. Yeah.
Go ahead,
It's an
Eric,
awesome app. They have done a lot of improvements to it. The responsiveness is better. There's, I think, still kind of an issue if you have to adjust things. It doesn't keep the manual adjustment between cards, but they're going to look at fixing that and rolling out an update later. The additional cards have been really nice. I'm really surprised at the numbers of collections of cards out there that they've been able to get a hold of. And in some cases, it still reaches into the collections. In other cases, they've been able to pull scans of the cards out and put them in a higher speed connection. So it's faster to grab and visualize. I was looking at ostriches and emus earlier tonight, but there's a bunch of stuff from the San Francisco earthquake. And it's neat because you get a stereo view of what the buildings look like before the earthquake and fires, and not just the after effects. and a whole lot of other areas that they did a bunch of stuff where they had, like kitchen implements or a field with some cows, or so you get to see a set point, what everything looked like, but with depth. So really a lot of what we used to get with ViewMaster, because it was the precursor to the ViewMaster discs, but now you can easily view a whole pile of them, plop the card in, and you don't have to have that whole giant physical viewer that you used to have, which was, a really long kind of hunk of wood with a lens on one side and a clip to drop the card in on the other side. It would be like if you took a ViewMaster and then stretched it out, 12 or 18 inches. So this
Well,
is a lot.
only if you had
Yeah.
only if you had
Go
the talking ViewMaster, you'd be told
Yeah.
this big long thing here.
There were talking ViewMasters.
Yeah.
There was. I had one.
Man, I led such an underprivileged childhood, which is why I go toy nuts as an adult, I think.
Oh,
A talking ViewMaster.
It wasn't that expensive.
Well, tell
wasn't
that to my parents. They're both dead now, so you could tell them anytime you want. I did find the link. I did find the link for Stereopticon. I will go ahead and put that in the show notes so you can get this app. I guess my question, Eric, is did the developer just kind of go to public sources of photographs that were housed at museums and maybe on their sites for public display?
They went and talked to them to get permission.
Oh,
because they needed to check to find out whether they could have a higher speed copy or it had to go back to the original institution. But there are a bunch of people now who know of collections that have been going and talking to the developer and saying, hey, this place has a bunch, go talk to them. And then the developer's been able to reach out and say, hey, you've got all of this content. Can I make it available? So it's actually been really good for this media because I'm willing to bet a whole lot of it hasn't been used in decades and decades.
That's all cool. You have suggested last week that I go ahead and get this app, and I did not get this app. That's on test flight, but we have the link for it. And it basically creates really incredible art kind of multi-dimensional things. This app is available on test flight and some cool things. I just didn't go back and pull it out. I don't know, Eric, if you had any attempts to do this, or Dave, if you got into this app.
I sent in a request. Yeah, I sent in a request to get on the test flight, but not until relatively recently, and I haven't heard back. But it really looks like, it's an app where you kind of fall into a kaleidoscope and you're just surrounded. So it really looks like it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think the actual message came through our chat, and Eric, you said you need to do this, Marty. And I wondered if it was based on my chemically induced past that you wanted me to try this out.
I figured it might remind you of something.
I've got an app that will make you sick. So we'll talk about that when that comes up. For someone who does not like to be in high spaces. There were a bunch of patents, 4 patents that have come out that were shared in terms of Apple granted a patent for a cameraless eye tracking system applicable for both Vision Pro and the rumored Apple smart glasses. It aims to track gaze without the power overhead of traditional camera arrays. And the thing is, if you're watching the video, I have the patent picture up, and this looks, the pictures are like big-headed people that are stick figures with no hands, just arms. That is actually a sign of potentially historic abuse when kids are drawing images without hands. But that's the patent setup for this. It's really kind of go to the site and look at this patent just to have a good laugh at the picture, because I really don't understand what they're trying to do here. but it is a patent for a cameraless eye tracking system with applications, and it was filed August 3rd, just today,
So that's
2026.
really, really cool, because if you're going to come up with a pair of glasses and not put cameras into it because you don't want cameras in the glasses, or you don't want to make it seem like you're recording everybody, then you still need to know what people are looking at.
That's my fantasy of what's going to happen with Apple Glass is that they will skip over
Yeah.
the cameras. If you want to take a video or a picture, pull your damn phone out, and they will be branded and marketed and recognized as the glasses without the creep factor. But you're right, Eric, the idea here of being able to put things that will be able to judge distances and give information for the glasses that can be used for location or for GPS, turns and things like that seems pretty cool. And yet another patent for comfortable user interface may make the Apple Vision Pro more comfortable to wear. And I think what surprises me about this is we've seen this kind of thing in multiple previous patents, where there was going to be an auto adjustment based on where you're looking, that it was going to kind of have its internal hydraulics to shift the mask to get your, the best focus and image. So this might just be another option for Apple to lock down. You really have to take, if you're listening to this on audio, check the links out, because the pictures in these patents the previous ones were much more diagrammatic. These are just kind of nutty. Apple patent involves virtual paper for the Vision Pro, and it is a picture of a poorly drawn chicken, I guess rooster, and it appears to be wearing clothes. And it has a person standing in front of it and emphasizing the X, Y, and Z axis. I didn't quite get this in terms of what the virtual paper was. If you have any idea that you can fill listeners in on that, I'll take it. And then lastly, and to get out of this section as painless as possible, future Vision Pros could offer full body avatars extended in reality environments. And you've seen some of this proposed with Meta, that the half-body avatars walking around the Meta worlds they're trying to give bottom halves to. And this could be also something that we'll see happen with Vision Pro based on this patent. So yeah, captures the user's actual appearance to generate a full body 3D avatar in XR, going well beyond the current persona feature. I have a certain amount of body shame because of my weight and size, and the last thing I want to do is appear as I am in Vision Pro. I guess I don't care. I'm old. I don't give a damn about that anymore. But frankly,
there's a fix. There's a fix. All you have to do is make sure your avatar is wearing an Apple Watch. And then you make your avatar walk back and forth multiple times during the day to get your step count up. And then all of a sudden, your avatar will look better.
Oh. Ironically, when I first started messing around with Second Life, which is VR world, I went in there to try and make a really me-looking me. And all I could get was basically 20-year-old avatars with really svelte bodies, really good athletic bodies. I couldn't create a avatar that looked my body shape, my size, my age. So there is already some built-in bias with that. So I guess in this case, Apple's going to let it all hang out.
As long as you can blur bits.
Yeah, mine would take like 1 pixel. That's the only... I wouldn't need a whole bunch of blurry parts. God. All right. So
depends on how far away you are, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Objects appear closer or whatever, larger.
Yeah.
Let's get to apps. This is Morning Brief Vision. the hour and a half before the show, I started playing with the apps, and I know some of you had done the same. Did any of you try this out? I did.
I really wanted
I
to try this one and didn't get to it, but
Dave,
was
no?
it worth? I
Was it
I
worth
looked at it.
$3.99?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask. Was it worth $3.99?
Yeah, it costs $3.99, and was it worth it? I guess it depends on your intended usage. I'm going to put my headset on either in the morning to kind of move through stuff, or
Mhm.
more likely in the evening to use it for an entertainment device and maybe some productivity. So this would be of value to me because that would be my morning process of putting the headset on. Does it give you good information? Yeah. I mean, I tested it out. It unfortunately told me that Apple dropped in the market today while Microsoft went up,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
NVIDIA
noticed
also
that.
increased. So yeah. It also gave summaries. You could select from a panel of, do you want just sports news? Do you want tech news? Do you want, and I just loaded them all up just to see what it would come. You can get it in a window where it's just titles, or you can switch to a format that's like morning paper. And they don't have any videos on here to kind of show the process. But it was cool. I think it would be something that I would well, I paid for it, so it's available for me now, but I'd customize it a little bit more than what I did, because I've learned from the first attempt what I do and don't want. And it seemed like a pretty cool interface. Now, it did populate a lot of my room because it gives you separate cells for separate things. You've got weather, you've got news, you've got stocks, you've got your calendar. So it does pretty much
Mhm.
fill up your field of vision pretty quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, for folks who want to slap this headset on and get an idea what their work's going to be for the day, it's pretty cool. All right. This is the one that I thought was really, really neat. And I hope Eric got a chance to do this or look at this, and Dave.
I did look at it.
Yeah. What'd you think, Dave?
I looked at the first video that turned to stone.
Right.
Video was pretty amazing. I thought the audio was not great. It was kind of muffled a little bit. I mean, I don't know if I'm being kind of critical about it, but maybe I'm a little more used to any Apple produced types of videos. But this is obviously something that's being edited as somebody on their own recording this spatial video. So, but overall, I think it's a good experience. Looks like there was like 3 different videos. I'm gonna go back and watch the other 2 that were free. But I guess there's it's in-app purchase if you want to get the next one. It's coming soon. It said.
Yeah,
So
I was one of them was coming soon. The other one that was a free video was actually a shorter, like minute and 40 seconds.
yeah,
But the interesting thing about this for me is going to kind of natural places. And the one that was fascinating was the Paiute Canyon, because
yeah.
they had lots of different shots in there. You saw this, Dave. Lots of different
Mhm.
shots in there, really using kind of spatial. And there were a couple of shots that when I saw them, standing up top and looking down in the canyon, I thought this will
Mhm.
trigger Eric at some level. But what I like about the concept is they're kind of going to natural environments and then they're telling the folklore behind those
Mhm.
particular areas. So the minute 42 is about of sort of a violin story of a particular part in the woods with the water that was surrounding the trees, and it builds in a lot of the natural storytelling. I thought this would be great for Eric. For
Mhm.
me, I would have to get into a car, drive someplace, then hike to get to that to experience it. And you lost me at get in the car and drive someplace. So this is Eric. I don't know if you've seen this one. Have you looked at it?
I opened up, I launched it, I started this first part, I rebooted, I opened it up again, I launched it, and I must have rebooted 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I noticed that there is like a down arrow on the window, and the down arrow will download the video.
Download it. Yeah. So
I didn't
I'll
download
try
it.
that next.
I streamed it, but it did stall in a couple of places for me.
Mhm.
So I think they're giving you the ability to download those videos, at least the ones that are free or that you wind up paying for. And I don't know what the payment schedule is. Is it a subscription, in-app purchases? Yeah, monthly $7.99, annual $59.99. I see that and go, yeah, I'll try it for 1 month and put in the $8 and then forget to ever go back and look at it again. So, that I would say the price point is better than others that I've seen for these kind of video serving sites, but still go in and take a look at it, because I think the concept is incredible in terms of the storytelling that goes with it. Arcade Frame, spatial arcade games and toys. Either you guys try this?
I didn't.
It looks, it's obviously built from the process that you see with creating a platform. Remember when they went from 1 to 26, they created that tabletop place where developers could develop on a space, and that's what comes up as you have this space. And they have this coin drop thing, which you've seen in arcades before, basically trying to do that. Then they have this rotate and move the car without crashing through the corners. And then they have, that gopher kind of pop thing that they have in arcades. I found it interesting. I don't know the rules for these games and they don't explain it, but I had some fun playing with it for a while. I don't know what the cost is on it. It is $199 for it. And let me see if there are additional charges or ongoing charges for that. It doesn't appear to be. So once you buy it, you got it. So yeah, just 3 simple arcade games. You do a slider, the one disappears in the box and the next one comes up. And so you can move through all 3 of them that way if you want to. Spatial scanner QR code. This was $3. I went into it. Did anybody else try this or look at this? Yes or no? No, I wasn't looking. No.
I went to download it, but is it necessary?
That's the thing. I thought, what the hell am I going to use this for? I have my headset on and I'll be able to look. And I was hoping Eric might be able to explain, if a QR code comes up, I guess, on your laptop, that you can then scan it. And I don't know, Eric. I just could not figure out a use case.
A lot of times if you're watching a video or something else, it'll say, use the QR code. Take a picture with your phone and then go to whatever. But if you're watching it within the Vision Pro, you can hold your phone up all you want and it will never see the QR code. And, you can take a screenshot or whatever. So having an app that can go look at that, I see the concept. Even if you go to a website and there's a QR code on the website, you don't want to have to print it out or, send it to your iPad or computer to then hold your phone up to go to the QR code. That's too many steps. But if a QR code comes up and you click and hold, it will give you the address and let you go to it.
Okay.
I didn't check to see if that works in 26, but in the beta it works.
Yeah. First of all, that occurs so rarely for me when I'm not using my Vision Pro. I wonder if it would occur as rarely more rarely if I'm using my Vision Pro. So I have a hard case. I spent the money, I got the damn thing, and then it was like, okay, find a QR code and, do this. And I'm like, I'll ask
when the
Eric
conference
or
video,
Dave.
when the conference videos come up from MacStock, go watch some of those videos because there are QR codes all over the place in those.
Yeah, I had one in my presentation.
And if you're watching them in the Vision Pro and you want to click on the QR code, so you'll get your use out of it at some point.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, when it's time for me to get my use out of it, I will forget that I actually have it and then punt. Here's one that we talked a little bit about: Hivebreak, Bug Hunt, and Starfighter Combat. 99 cents. It's not a big investment. There are no additional charges or additional things that you have to do. This seemed like this was a project of passion for the person who created it from reading what was in their Reddit post about it, and so I took a look at this and downloaded it and had a difficult time getting to work the controls. And I'm wondering if it's in part due to the glitch that I have with the beta. It does take other controls, so I could have gotten my PS2 controllers out and maybe that would have worked for the things, or it could have just been my ignorance in how to man the controls with this device. So, but interesting gameplay. Eric, you have more to add to this?
Yeah,
Or
so
Dave?
I never did get the finger gun to do anything. I don't either. I didn't get it right, or it was the beta or something else. However, if you launch yourself into space, because launching yourself into space always fixes everything. Launch yourself into space, and once you're in space, like if you make a fist and then turn it, you can spin your ship around until you throw up. Don't do that. That's really messy. But so you can navigate, you can spin, but there's a dashboard in the spaceship. One of the buttons in the dashboard is fire. So you get weapons control. So you can rotate your ship a little bit. You can go, tilt it up and down, rotate it left and right, and press the button to fire your lasers. It's probably easier to go grab a controller and hook that up and use the controller, but that worked. So if your finger guns are out of ammo, switch to the spaceship because it's got all the ammo it needs.
When you make a statement like, if your finger guns are out of ammo, you don't realize that's like setting me up for really tasteless jokes.
Yeah, it does.
If your finger guns are out of ammo. Yeah, so check out Hivebreak. I think De Suarez was saying very cool. I think they might have been referring to Hivebreak, which is the app we're talking about now. Now, here's one I think we can all wrap our hearts and minds around. Brick Break AR. Any of you try this one? Not you, Dave?
Ran out of time.
You did.
No, I didn't.
I kind of wanted it.
No, I did not. Did not.
And they don't have any video on it, but it's basically a breakout game in 3D. It is about the level of complicated gaming that I can do because I did it like 40 years ago. And it's a simple, like I said, a simple breakout game. I got up to level 2. All right. So hooray for me. And I still don't know what some of the actions mean. So like when a little square drops down, is that going to enlarge the bar? It did in one case, and then it shrunk the bar in another case. So I haven't figured out the logic on that. But it is like in space right in front of you. And it has a fully immersive mode, or at least had a button for fully immersive where you can go fully immersive, and it was grayed out, so I couldn't figure out if what they were giving me was fully immersive or there was some setting where I couldn't get fully immersive. Basically, it was a frame hanging in front of me in space with the thing moving back and forth. I wouldn't consider that fully immersive, but that's one of the options on this. $2 and it gets you there. I need you to, if you've had a chance to look at this next one, I went in and it was a video editor, Cut, Spatial video editor. And I put some pictures in to see if it would do 2D to 3D, and it didn't work for me. And that is not a complaint about the app. I actually put in a picture of us standing outside a restaurant at Macstock. And when I put it in and then I asked to act on it, it kind of drifted around the picture, sort of like a Ken Burns effect. It didn't give me a spatial pullout. So I'm not certain if I didn't know it or didn't do it right, or it was a limitation of what I was doing in terms of using the free version of it. They talk a good game in here.
Does it need more than one frame to work on? So maybe you have to give it actual video and not just a still?
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. There is one review that said, I love this app. I love this app, paid for subscription. Now it does not work either. I used to love this app.
Oh,
So someone was
oh,
not happy with the paid subscription function on it. And I think this is one where they made a change in it. Like they published and they said, we have a new version of this app out. And this was 2 days ago. And then they followed it up with a link that said, oops, we accidentally introduced a bug. But the latest version, which is what I downloaded, the bug they had corrected the bug for. So what did scare me away was monthly for $5, yearly for $40 in terms of cost, and just feeling like I couldn't get enough out of the free version to determine whether or not I would have enough video to do the conversion. And once I did the conversion, I guess I could show it on my phone or I could show it on other devices once I got it there. Eric, you're into this kind of thing. Is there anything that seems appealing or unappealing to you on
well, there
this
aren't a
product?
lot of there are not a lot of editors that you can use on the Vision Pro itself. And again, it's that whole thing of if you can take some clips and you can edit them and you can see the results of the edit in the Vision Pro right away without having to save it and then switch to the Vision Pro and then, view it. That appeals to me. I, I might give it a try for a month. I've got a few clips now that, it'd be nice to be able to add some titling and, string the clips together in a sequence. So I'll give it a try.
Yeah, but don't we have those kind of editors already with, well, tonight, Adobe Premiere?
Well, I could do it. I could do it in Final Cut.
Yeah, in Final Cut
But in Final Cut, I'd move it onto another machine and edit it there, and then.
Yeah.
So I'm more curious. I don't know if I would pay the $150 for a year. I'm more curious to know if it works. That's what it says. One time unlocked for $150, or you can pay $5 a month or $40 a year.
My guess is the 150 is for eternity.
Yeah,
because it's $39 a year.
It's only as long as they continue to produce it. So it might not be that long. Who knows? But, I'll look at it because I'm just curious to see kind of how they're doing it. And I think at some point, at least having viewers to let you see content or rough editors to give you a hint about, is your footage going to work, or can you do one sequence and then another sequence without making people sick? Or do you need to transition? Was there too much camera movement? That kind of stuff that it's useful to have while you still could get, another shot, another take.
Yeah. And if anybody would know about making people sick, Eric, it would be you.
I try.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean, just heights and quick movement. We know what your triggers are. And
yeah, and it's fast.
Yeah, that Lokal lore app, which is incredible in terms of the video and the stories part of it. There are a few scenes from the top of the canyon looking down, and I thought this is a trigger for Eric. But, spend some time with it, download it when you can. That pretty much wraps up what we were going to cover tonight in terms of apps and everything else. So I'm just going to close up unless you guys have anything else to add, and go ahead and find out where we can find you. So, Eric?
Well, on Mastodon at Bolden at mas. What? God only knows. TO something? I'm not sure. I'm not home. I'm on vacation. I'm not thinking about where I can be found. I am constantly moving and unfindable on for another couple weeks.
Okay. All right. David, can you express any more interest on where you can be found?
I can give you full interest here. But you find me at In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Sunday nights, the Neo Notebook. Mondays here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner and the gang. Thursdays, In Touch with iOS recordings. And Fridays, usually on the Tech Hangout. And I'm on Mastodon and Blue Sky at Dave Ginsburg.
And what I want listeners or viewers to do is just roll back for like 15 seconds, and all the places where you find Dave, you'll find me too.
Yeah.
At those locations. So, except
Easy way.
my link is at Gencius, Gencius, either at Blue Sky or Mastodon is how you can connect, and take a look at the podtalk.net website, because that'll have the shows that many of us are on or many of us are guests on, and other shows that I produce under the podtalk.net kind of moniker. That's it for this show. If you want to get a hold of us, thanks for Cletus for joining us. D. Suarez won, and Craig was in there. A reminder to check out macOS Ken this Friday, as I'm a guest on there talking about vision profiles and talking about, Ken asked me, what are the myths that people have about the Vision Pro? But I had the pleasure of being able to talk about this show and the people that I get to work with as colleagues on this show. So it's a macOS Ken this Friday. Give a listen to that, and I appreciate that, and appreciate Ken Ray for asking me to be on to talk about this show. He has a satellite interest in Vision Pro. He really kind of wants one, but he's one of those folks that needs to be convinced. And he talked about the three of us at MacStock with the Vision Pro, and, getting a little more interested in Vision Pro as a result of that. But he can't. The $3,500 bug is what's holding him back. He's waiting for the next cheaper version. But thank you, and give a listen to macOS Ken this Friday. That wraps up Vision Pro and the Vision Pro universe for this week. You can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/@visionprofiles, live Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, you can email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. So send us a note, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to find out more about what you're interested in when it comes with Vision Pro and the device and how you're using it. And you can find out all the programming that we do at thepodtalk.net. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.